a book called Kitab al-Hamdal al-Mawassanin, the book of idiots and fools. And he wrote it with isnad. حدثني فلان عن فلان. Like he had one man, he came and they were praying, and the imam lost his wudu. He had to go. He saw one man, he looked so good, his face, beautiful, beard, turban, everything. He put him ahead, he said, Sallallahu, I only lead the prayer if I have wudu. This is the level of idiocy that sometimes people get hamfar on the book of fools and idiots. Really, we have too many fools in our ummah now. We have to become uqala or afala ta'qilun. Don't you use your intellect? And if you have a hard time with that, follow the people that use their intellect. فَسَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Ask the people of remembrance if you don't remember, if you don't know. There's no shame in not knowing. The shame is in not knowing that you don't know. That's where the shame comes. There's no shame in not knowing. We all begin our journey ignorant. When I entered Islam, I knew nothing about Islam. Other than that I felt it was true in my heart, and I had to follow my heart. That's what I knew. But then I grew in Islam. I learned more, and I learned more. But the more I learned, the more I realized that I don't know very much. Wallahi, I'm not saying that out of humility. I'm saying that in reality. Especially when we look at our own masters, the people we studied with, and what they know, and we know what they know. There's so much to learn in this religion, and that's why humility is at the root of our religion, being humble, saying, I don't know. Imam Malik said, مَنْ قَالَ لَا أَدْرِي فَقَدْ أَفْتَوْا. If you say, I don't know, then you've given a fatwa. If somebody asks you and you don't know, just say, I don't know. مَنْ يُحِبُّ أَنْ يَرَاهُ مُتَصَدِّرًا وَيَكْرَهْ لَا أَدْرِي أُصِيبَتْ مَقَاتِلُ. If whoever wants to be seen in front of people and he hates to say, I don't know, he's going to kill himself. With God, our community needs to learn humility, and we need to learn mahabba. This religion is about love. This month we are celebrating the Prophet's birthday. Wallahi. But I'll tell you something. I celebrate the Prophet's birthday all year long. We should, it's not just Rabi'a al-Awwal. Every day of your life you should get up and say, Alhamdulillah, the Prophet was born. Every morning, the first thing I do, the Prophet taught me how to do it. I get up and do wudu. And when I wake up, I say, Subhanallah, ahyani ba'dama amatani wa ilayhi nushur. Who taught me that? Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barak alayhi. Who taught me to be awake when I wake up? الجاهل يصبح ويقول ماذا سيفعل اليوم. العاقل يقول ماذا سيفعل الله بي اليوم. Ignorant people get up and they say, what am I going to do today? Intelligent people get up and they say, what's Allah going to do with me today? Really? Who taught us that? La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that. When I go to the night, Allahumma ja'al fi qalbi nura, wa fi sam'i nura, wa fi basari nura. Allahumma ja'al amani nura, wa khalfi nura, wa an yamini nura, wa an shimali nura, wa min fawqi nura, wa min tahti nura. Allahumma ja'alni nura. Make me light. That's the dua of our Prophet ﷺ, wa kana nura. Allah said, He said a book and a light. He said a light. Kitab min Allah, and a light, wa nur, a light. What was that light? Read the tafsir. I didn't make it up. Mufassirun say the light is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was light. But why do you need it? If the book's there, why do you need the light? Because you can't read a book without light. You can't read a book without light. He's the light by which you read the book. If you don't have light, you're in the dark. هو الذي يصلي عليكم وملائكته ليخرجكم من ماذا؟ من الظلمات إلى النور. He's the one that prays on you. Why? Why does he pray on you? إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. He prays on you because you pray on his Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. من صلى عليك واحدة صلى الله عليه عشرة. Whoever says prayer on the Prophet once, Allah says 10 prayers on his, salah upon us. Why? لِيُخْرِجْكُم مِّنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ, to take you from zulumat. In Arabic, zulumat is jama'. It's a plural. Nur is singular. To take you out of the plurality of darknesses to the singularity of Tawheed, to the light of Tawheed. Light is unbroken. It's a wave. Light is a wave. It's a wave. Light from the sun, when it reaches here, is unbroken chain. Darkness is all. It's complete. Absence of this light. Allah takes you out of multiple darknesses. Don't you know darknesses have shades? You have pitch darkness, then you have degrees of darkness. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes you out of these darknesses into the light of Iman. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَيِّتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ, the one who was dead, and we brought him to life. وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ, we gave him a light. He walks with it amongst people that are in darkness. This is Islam. Islam is a light. The Prophet ﷺ gave one man, he was going home, he gave him a stick, and a light came from it. Flashlight! The Prophet invented the flashlight. Wallahi, it's in the hadith. Now we can buy one of those things. You can go buy one, but 1400 years ago, he gave him a stick, and he said, go and walk, and he saw a beam of light. He said, a beam of light came out of the stick, and he found his way home. Who made the beam of light? Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is one of his miracles. You think, wallahi, if people knew his miracles, I'll give you one miracle that anybody with any intellect, if they study this miracle, they will know that this messenger was a true messenger of God. I'll give you two miracles, because it's molded so forth. The first miracle is that when he was a little boy in the deserts of Bani Sa'd, these were the people that took him, and we know Halima Sa'diyah, what a beautiful woman. Her shafaqa, Allah chose her. And she's Halima, and the nipple is called Halama. It's from the same root. Because that's where milk of human kindness comes from. That's where you learn how to be. You see, when a baby gets agitated, all the mother has to do is give the baby the breast, and suddenly the baby is blissful. Do you know what hilm means in Arabic? It means calmness, but it also means intellect. Do you know what a dreamer is? A halim. Yahlumu means to dream. Why would a dreamer be halim and halim is intellect? Because in order to dream, you have to be still. You can't dream if you're disturbed or agitated. In order for your hilm to work, you have to be still. If you don't have sakina, you can't think. And that is why إِذْ جَعْلَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فِي قُلُوبِهِمُ الْحَمِيَّةَ حَمِيَّةَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ فَأَنزَلَ اللَّهُ سَكِينَتَهُ عَلَى رَسُولِهِ وَعَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَأَلْزَمَهُمْ كَلِمَةَ التَّقْوَى وَكَانُوا أَحَقَّ بِهَا وَأَهْلَهَا. When the kuffar became filled with their zealousness, agitation, their ignorance, their zeal, their resentment and anger, Allah descended upon you tranquility. Tranquility, so they can think, because when people get crazy, like these Muslims in protest, it's like Hamiyya, that's Hamiyya al-Jahiliyyah. No, Muslims are uqala, they're still. This is what Sun Tzu in The Art of War, a beautiful, important book, more Muslims should read that book. He says, get your enemies angry and send them into disarray. That's what Sun Tzu said 3,000 years ago. Anger your enemies and send them into disarray. Look at the Muslims, they get angry at the slightest thing. Why? Because there's no sakina, there's no dhikr. They're agitated, they're aggressive, they're angry, they're resentful. No, we want guidance for even the worst people that fight us. Those who fight us, we want their guidance. Look at what Imam Nawawi says about من كان يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. No one of you truly believes. That's Iman al-Kamil. The Prophet said, "Second, I will draw near to this." You can't get it all. We're moving towards the ideal of this religion, but none of us has it. He alone had it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He is the complete Muslim. He is an insan al-kamil. All of us emulate him in trying to approximate trying to come near, come closer to God by coming closer to the beloved of God. The closer you get to the beloved of God, the closer you are to God. But it's a proclamation. وَمَا مِنَّا إِلَّا لَهُ مَقَامٌ مَعْلُومٌ. Everyone amongst us has a rank with God. And He has the highest rank. So the closer you are to Him, the higher your rank is. And those things are known to Allah alone. The sweeper of this masjid might have a higher rank than the Imam. I don't know. Only God knows that. We think that that's the people that open a bowl of ice, wash it with a cryonic, saline, potassium-rich solution called Zamzam. Who wouldn't believe that? But now today, every day, all over England, America, Europe, even now in Africa, Middle East, Asia, their surgeons go in, they cut open the sternum. They open it up. They pull a heart out. They put it into a bowl with ice. You can look this up, Google. Just do a Google, open heart surgery, bowl of ice. And they put it into a bowl of ice. Why? Because they need to slow down the metabolic rate of the cells in the heart so that it doesn't die. So what's the angels doing with a bowl of ice in the middle of the desert performing open heart surgery? Who taught them that? The one who taught us how to do open heart surgery. That's a clear miracle. And then the Sahaba said we used to see the thread on his chest from the remnant of that open heart surgery. How many people do you know that you've seen the remnant of the open heart surgery on their chest? La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Who can make that up? And he's as-sadiq al-masduq, the truthful and the one who should be believed, because these things, then, they believed them on faith. But today, we have everyday occurrences of the things. The Prophet ﷺ traveled from Mecca to Jerusalem in a night. Now we do that every single day. There's flights. You can go from Jeddah to Damascus on an airplane. And the Prophet ﷺ went on a vehicle that Allah created called the Buraq. The Buraq, which is from Basra, like light, and it said the one movement was from one horizon to the other. That's how fast light goes, and it was called the Buraq, the light beast. Traveling at the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second. Not hard for God. If we can make a machine, Rolls-Royce makes British Airways, I fly British Airways because the engines are Rolls-Royce. But what if the engines are made by Rabbul Alameen? Seriously, you don't have to worry about the mechanics making a mistake. If Allah is making that, this is the miracle of the Prophet ﷺ. He described things exactly. The Prophet, they asked him, tell us what Jerusalem is like. What did Jibreel do? He showed him Jerusalem before his own eyes. Now you have a television, you can see Jerusalem before your own eyes. Right in front of you, even though it's thousands of miles away. You see Jerusalem. تَنُرِيهِمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمْ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ. People say, how can God bring us back to life when we die? Mr. Dawkins says you just die, you go into the grave, earth, and then you'll change into some other form. Allah is cool. Hijara al-hadida, be a stone, be an iron, change to some other form. Whatever, you think is amazing, Allah will still recreate you. Now they have their own scientists are saying that they can take one cell from a human being and recreate that human being. It's called cloning. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمْ النَّشْأَةَ الْأُولَى. You knew the first way that you were created. You knew the first way that you were created. That means there's other ways to recreate us. So now they take a sheep, take some cell from the mammary gland, and they make other sheep. The whole blueprint is in one cell. Who taught the Prophet that? Azbazana. Who taught him that? He said there's a piece of the human being, that the whole of the human being is contained in it. Who taught him that? Rabbul Alameen الذي خلق ألا يعلم من خلق وهو لطيف خبير. Doesn't he know the one who created? These are miracles, clear miracles for anybody with eyes to see, with ears to hear. ولكنهم صم بكم عمي وهم لا يبصرون. But blind, deaf, and dumb, they don't see. These aren't imaginations, these are realities. Who taught the Prophet these things? Seriously, where did they come from? I'll give you another miracle. In the Prophet ﷺ said in Sahih Bukhari, it's a sound hadith, agreed upon its soundness. He said, سَتَخْرُجُ مِنْ أَرْضِ الْحِجَاز in one riwayah, and in another near Medina, سَتَخْرُجُ نَارٌ. There will be a great fire that emerges in the Hijaz. And he said, تُوقِدُ أَعْنَاقَ الْإِبْلِ بِبُصْرَى. It will illuminate the necks of the camels in Busra, in Syria. Who would believe that? The Sahaba, because they knew, As-Sadiq al-Masduq. He doesn't lie. Sayyidina Abu Bakr, they said, oh, he says he went to Jerusalem last night. A journey takes us a month. Do you believe it? What a beautiful statement. I don't believe you. Maybe he didn't say that. But if he said it, it's true. That's what he said. He's indicating you're not such a trustworthy source. But he is. So if he said it, called Jumla Shafiya, وشرط محصور في المشروع, like the Nuhat said, it's a conditional sentence. So the condition is predicated upon what it necessitates. It necessitates there. If he said it, then it's true. And indeed he did. That's Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. The one who believed him, because why? He knew him better than anybody. He grew up with him. He saw him. He never told a lie. Ever. One of the Arab said that the Prophet was jahid. He said he not telling the truth, he didn't believe it. Then when he saw his face, لما وقع بصره على طلعته النيرة المستنيرة فوقع إيمانه في قلبه وقال والله ليس هذا بوجه كذاب. This is not the face of a liar. And then he said, عرض علي الإسلام يا رسول الله. Tell me about Islam. فعرض علي الإسلام فأسلم. He became Muslim just by looking at his face. Allahumma salli alayhi. May Allah give us the vision of his face. He became Muslim just by seeing his face. So how about Abu Bakr, who spent his whole lifetime with him? If one man became Muslim by just seeing the light on his face, what about Abu Bakr, who spent the whole time growing up with him, knowing what an upright and honorable human being he was? He never told a lie. He took care of the orphans. He helped the needy. All those things the Prophet ﷺ did. And then one day, a man who was never known to come out, he never quoted poetry, he never took over a majlis, he never spoke in front of people. He was a humble, gentle human being who was honest in his commerce. He was upright, he was al-amin. They gave him their trust because he was so trustworthy. But one day he said, God spoke to me. Now there's only two possibilities there. There's three maybe. One, he's not telling the truth. But if he told the truth all his life, why would he suddenly tell a lie so enormous? If he wouldn't lie about little things, why would he tell a lie about the greatest of things? And then you could say, well, he was sincere, like some of the Orientalists say, that will tell us how far you walked with a voice. You have walked 5 miles. It's a shoe that talks. And our Prophet said people would wear shoes that talk towards the end of time. Who can make that up? But we are witnessing it. We're living in these days. We're living in these times. Our Prophet told the truth. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inna al-ra'ida la yakzibu ahlahu. The one that goes ahead for a clan, they send a ra'id ahead. He said, a ra'id will never lie to his own family, his own clan. He said to the Quraysh, Wallahi law kadabtu an-nasa jami'an ma kadabtukum. If I lied to all of humanity, I wouldn't lie to you because you're my family, you're my clan. This is what he said, I would never lie to you. And then he said, وَلَوْ غَرَبْتُ النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا مَا غَرَبْتُكُمْ. If I deluded all the people, I would not delude you. وَاللَّهِ الَّذِي لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُوَ إِنِّي رَسُولُ اللَّهِ إِلَيْكُمْ. I am the messenger of God to you. I am the messenger of God to you. خَاصَةً وَإِلَى النَّاسِ كَافَةً. I came to you specifically, the Arabs, and in particular the Quraysh, and I came to humanity generally. This is the message of the Prophet. He said, Wallahi, innakum la tub'athunna. You will be raised up. You will be raised up. Wa innakum la tuhasabunna. And you will be judged. There will be a reckoning. All this criminal activity out there, plundering nations, raping women, pillaging people, stealing, cheating, from the taxi driver that lies, that goes the wrong route to make it a little longer. There's some taxi drivers in here that have done that. Don't lie. Don't lie to you. Can lie to the whole world, but don't lie to yourself and don't lie to God. You can lie to the whole world, but don't lie to yourself and don't lie to God. There's taxis in here, taxi drivers, who took that long route. That's right. Because he has an American accent. You figure you're getting a little bit back. That's not Islam. That's not Islam. You go the shortest route. Because he trusts that that's what you're going to do. So you can turn on that meter, you can go that long route, but there's angels that know exactly what you did. You can't fool them. You can fool the man in the back. You can fool him, but on the day of judgment, that's going to come out. It's going to come out. It's all going to be revealed. And then he said, Wallahi innahu la jannatun. It's either paradise, or it's fire. That's it. Those are two options. Each one of us came into this world in the doors of infinity. We're temporal beings. We're only here in time. Some of you who are older with white beards, show me one white beard. Oh, look at that beautiful white beard. Two beautiful white beards. Tell me the truth. In your experience, when you look out at the world, not in the mirror, do you feel any different than when you were 20 years old? Just your experience. Do you feel any different? You don't feel different, do you? Why don't we feel different? I look in the mirror, I look different than I did 20 years ago, but I feel the same. Because that consciousness that God gave you is permanent. It doesn't age like the body. It wasn't created to age. It will never die. Allah created it to last forever. And that's why you don't feel any change in your consciousness. You see your body changing, you see the wrinkles coming.